If you happened to be on Coligny Beach a few weeks ago, you might have thought it interesting that there were some people in business attire with briefcases running the beach, while other runners were going after them to tag them. Well, that happened to be an event organized by Lowcountry legal volunteers. It was called an attorney chase. To find out about Lowcountry Legal Volunteers, we've invited its executive director to join me, Ryan Mikkelson. It's great to see you, Ryan.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thanks for coming in. First of all, can you give us an overview on what Lowcountry Legal Volunteers does?
Yeah, Lowcountry Legal Volunteers provides free representation, education, and advice to low-income citizens of Beaufort, Jasper, and Hampton counties, primarily through the use of volunteer attorneys and retired attorneys and judges from other areas that come in to this area and get a special certificate through the Supreme Court to provide pro bono services to these low-income individuals.
Well, it's interesting you say a certificate issued by the state Supreme Court, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that something really mandated by law, or is it something the organization felt that it should do?
That's mandated by law. Any attorney that moves into a state has to be licensed in that state to practice. Most of these retired attorneys and judges come from the Northeast or Midwest, so they are not licensed in South Carolina. They get this special certificate so they do not have to take the bar exam here and get waived in through their active membership or suspended membership in another jurisdiction. So then they are able to practice only under the supervision of an executive attorney who is licensed in the state and who has passed the bar. That happens to be my wife, Tiffany Mikkelson, right now. She provides the attorney's supervision, I guess is what you would say.
Sure, and that would make sense if you've got people coming from other areas of the country that might not know the ins and outs of, say, particular state laws here in South Carolina. About how many hours a week do you find that you've got attorneys or retired judges volunteering for the organization?
Well, our executive attorney is there pretty much every day of the week, all day, except when she's in court, which is quite a bit. Our retired attorneys, we have probably 7 active retired attorneys right now. Basically, every day of the week, there is a retired attorney there. I would say in total, they probably make up 40 hours a week, maybe a little bit more of active time.
Wow, that's quite a commitment. Do you find that you get a lot of requests for assistance from people that would be considered in the low-income category that are in need of some legal advice or representation?
Yeah, absolutely. The main types of law we cover, we don't do any criminal or immigration work. We do pretty much run the gamut on civil litigation except for plaintiff's injury cases that can be fee generating for a local attorney. We handle most things that would be covered by an hourly fee, such as domestic relations, primarily custody stuff. My wife and I are proud parents of 2-year-old twins and a 5-year-old, so that's really where our main focus of this organization has gone, is to custody actions. I would say the majority of new cases we bring in on a monthly basis, 75 to 80% are custody matters. We won't do just a standard divorce where it's adults fighting over things anymore. There has to be children and children impacted by our work for us to take it. We do landlord-tenant work. We also do some employment issues that come up. And it's a wide range of different types of cases we'll take, but they're primarily, they all are on the civil side of things.
Okay. I'm curious now, with the issues of custody and the like, I know, and help me because I'm not a lawyer, a guardian ad litem is someone assigned by the court to represent a young person in family court, I believe. But is that a necessity or something that's done in the kinds of cases that you're talking about? Yeah,
the majority of what we do is in family court. We work in family court. Anytime a custody case is disputed at all, whether it be the hours of visitation, basically any disputes that continue along in the litigation will require a guardian ad litem to come involved. That's a sticky situation for us because our clients are obviously not in a good financial situation, and that's why they're with us, and they have to pay for these guardian ad litem, so sometimes it makes litigation very challenging for us. Also, a mediation is required before you can get to a final hearing if there's any parts of the litigation that are contested. So you have guardian ad litem fees and mediation fees that pile up on this person that unfortunately we don't have the funds to pay for somebody, and quite frankly would have a hard time ethically paying for somebody. So they really have to be able to have some money to be in a custody case, and so that sometimes prevents us challenges. But yes, a guardian ad litem would be involved in these cases.
Well, that's really interesting. I did not realize that it is the person, the parent, that is responsible for those guardian ad litem fees. So that, as you say, is an added expense as well. How long has the organization been in existence here in the area, and do you foresee expanding at all, or is this really the counties that you mentioned the ones that really you'll be taking care of?
Lowcountry Legal Volunteers, which was formerly Lowcountry Legal Aid, and prior to that Lowcountry Legal Clinic, has been around for just over 10 years. So we've been here for a while. At the beginning, we just serviced Hilton Head, and then it grew into Beaufort County. A few years ago, we decided to, or the organization prior to me being there, decided to expand to Beaufort, Jasper, and Hampton counties. So we expanded into Jasper and Hampton. As of right now, I don't see any expansion. As everybody knows, the economy's been really tough on everybody, more so on the nonprofits than probably everybody else, since that's kind of a trickle-down effect of where you give your money. It's been very difficult for anybody to expand anything. Most are contracting, and while we've grown some on our budget side in the last 2 years, we are really having a difficult time of having any money there to expand those. Even our Hampton representation is very difficult. The attorneys obviously don't get paid mileage. Our executive attorney doesn't get paid mileage. So anytime they go to Beaufort, Jasper, or Hampton courthouses, that's coming out of our own pockets. So that's a very difficult thing, and we don't take a ton of cases in Hampton just because of that. Jasper is also a challenge. I mean, it's an hour there and an hour back. So it's not something easy to take those cases. We feel it's a need for us to take some of those cases, but we really do a good job of looking at the case facts before we decide whether to take it.
Well, Ryan Mikkelson, it sounds like you are extremely busy. I want to thank you for your time and letting us know about Lowcountry Legal Volunteers. I want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. Well, housing prices continue to fall. Some say that it may lead to a double dip recession. What do you think? We're going to find out how housing prices are doing here in the Lowcountry when we come back.